Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mossonyi, and in today's video I'm going to be answering one of my most frequently asked questions, which is what camera do you use? Before I get into the video, I just want to make things clear. With photography, I don't believe that a lot of it has to do with the gear, so you need to put in practice, because you can have all the most expensive gear in the world and still not be able to put it to good use. So I would say you can perfect your skills, and the gear is just going to help you improve upon what you already know. First things first, I'm actually filming this with my vlogging camera. That is the Canon G7X. I just thought I'd get that out of the way because I usually upload vlogs and I get asked that question as well. But my main DSLR camera that I use to take pictures that I share on Instagram and on my blog is this bad boy known as the Canon 5D Mark III. The name is also written on the strap here for you guys to see. Canon 5D Mark III. I've had this camera for at least 4 years now, and I'm super happy with the results that I've gotten from it. I only bought the body of the camera, so it's great to have a camera that allows you to use different lenses. Initially, I was using this with the Canon 50mm f1.8 lens, but then I heard about the Sigma lenses, and they are quite expensive, but in my opinion, they're quite worth it in terms of how great the images turn out when you use the Sigma lens. So right now, my go-to lens is the Sigma 50mm f1.4 art lens. I absolutely love this lens. So I tend to shoot my images in raw and manual mode. That allows me more wiggle room when I'm editing in post-production, and it also allows me more control over how my images turn out when I'm shooting. So that is one mode that I have been shooting in constantly. The Sigma lenses tend to be a lot more expensive than the Canon lenses, but I would say it is worth the investment. But in the meantime, if you do have a small budget, there's nothing wrong with starting off with the Canon 50mm f1.8 lens. I believe that currently retails around 70 to 80 pounds. It's definitely also a good investment until you can upgrade to buy one of these lenses, which tend to be a lot heavier than your standard Canon lenses. And very recently I got the Sigma 20mm f1.4 lens. The difference between the 20mm and the 50mm is that the 50mm is basically a portrait lens, and it's great for portrait photography and just your standard everyday photography. But the 20mm, you can see how curved the lens is. You can't even put a lens cap on, because yeah, it has a lens cap, but it's so different because the lens itself is not flat compared to the 50mm, so it curves a lot. So this is a great wide angle lens if you're trying to capture your surroundings and it is in a small space. This lens is great for shooting. It gives the image a really nice effect. I've used it for a couple of shoots on my Instagram and shared the images on there. One thing that I do notice is that when I shoot from a lower angle, it tends to give me the illusion of having longer legs, which I do not, because I'm actually 5'6". But this lens is one that I'm actually loving at the moment. It's great for shooting in enclosed spaces, but it can be it can distort your subject, if you know, because of the way the lens curves. So I would say it's not as great for portrait photography, but great for getting a lot of background in your images, which is why it's a wide angle lens. Then onto my tripod, which is what I tend to use to shoot a lot of my self-portraits. Every image you see on my Instagram has either been photographed by myself or Craig, or we use the tripod to just get the shots. And this tripod, I've had it, I believe, for close to 8 years now. It is a Manfrotto tripod, very steady, one that tends to do the job. Even though my camera and lens are quite heavy, it works. So this is one that I've been using, and so far I think I paid around £30 for this, so I'm super surprised I've gotten a lot of use out of this. That's a great one. In my images, I tend to use Photoshop because it allows me to work non-destructively. I can work in layers, go back and make changes. So my recommended app is Photoshop. And everything I learned in terms of editing with Photoshop, I learned it by watching YouTube videos. So I would say if you're looking to learn Photoshop, just do a search in YouTube and you will find loads of materials that will teach you how to use the software. In terms of color grading, I color grade my images using my own customized Lightroom presets. Yes, Lightroom, because I can use my Lightroom presets in Photoshop. Again, there's so many videos on YouTube that tell you how to use your Lightroom preset in Photoshop. My preset is available to purchase on my blog, but one thing I will say, it is only for the Lightroom desktop version only. I'm currently working on a mobile version. In the meantime, you can get my mobile preset pack that I created for the editing software app called A Color Story. In there, I created about 20 presets, but the one that I currently use for my Instagram is not part of the pack. The pack I created for A Color Story is called Lost Stories, but there are quite a few beautiful colorful presets that you find in there, and it currently retails for about £3.99, which is way cheaper than my preset that I sell on my blog at £40. One thing I would say is that a preset is a magic. It is a starting point to an image. It's by no means the final finished product once you just slap on the preset, because the lighting conditions will always differ, the camera settings will always differ, even the colors involved will always differ. So I would say a preset is a starting point. Some people just think that by just slapping a preset it's going to fix a picture. If the picture isn't great to begin with, then no amount of presets is going to save it, no matter how much you tweak it. So I would say it's best to get everything right during the shoot versus trying to fix things in post-production. At least that's the principle that I follow. And then there's my editing pad called the Wacom Intuos Pro. This is actually the small, and I think this is the perfect size. I always use this to edit for better precision. It's almost like a mouse pad, but it allows you to make tweaks in Photoshop a lot more easier than you would when using your mouse. I would highly recommend this, and this actually retails for under £200. I'd say give it a go. It's quite easy to use. I learned how to use it again by watching YouTube videos. So many tutorials on here on YouTube, and so many things that you can pick up. I love this. Always use this to edit. Computer wise, I tend to edit with my Mac or my MacBook Pro, which is just the laptop that I take about with me when I'm traveling. I will link all the products that I've mentioned in the description box down below, and in the meantime you guys can check out my Instagram, check out my blog, and also follow me on there if you fancy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.